the children of the hollow earth. In the late 23rd century, when the world's crust began to hum like a buried heartbeat, humanity finally admitted what it had always feared, that Earth was not silent beneath its skin, only sleeping. For generations, cities had drilled deeper, pulling energy from geothermal veins, feeding off the planet's warmth like insects on a candle. Deep core stations dotted the crust, hollow shafts of steel reaching into fire. Dr. Cale Ryan, a geologist who no longer dreamed of the sky, worked in one of those stations, Haven Deep 3, a facility so far below ground that sunlight was a myth. He had grown used to the tremors, to the low, constant sound of stone shifting under pressure. But when the hum began to repeat in perfect intervals, like a pulse echoing through bone, he felt the wrongness immediately. At first, they thought it was seismic activity. Then they realized the sound wasn't traveling upward from the core. It was coming down from above, from inside the rock itself. The sensors recorded something impossible. A series of harmonic frequencies that formed patterns, repeating every 12 hours, identical to human speech rhythms. Cale stayed late in the lab, alone, amplifying the vibrations until they formed a whisper that his instruments couldn't explain. It said, "We are not gone. We are underneath." The words came in 1,000 voices layered into one. Cale thought it was a malfunction until the stone wall beside him shifted slightly, breathing in the stale air. Within a week, the hum spread across all the stations. Engineers reported walls that glowed faintly in darkness, soil that pulsed with veins of light, and shadows that bent against gravity. Plants grown under artificial light began to move as if following invisible tides. Then came the black rain, oil-thick droplets that fell from cracks in the ceiling, hissing where they landed, leaving behind patterns like ancient writing. When Cale studied them under the microscope, he saw structures that weren't biological or mechanical, but something in between. Spores, tiny and metallic, vibrating as though alive. They seemed to be listening. He sent the data to the surface, but no reply came. One night, as he stood in the observation tunnel, the hum changed pitch and formed a shape in the glass, a handprint glowing from the inside. Then the glass cracked and bled light. A voice filled the chamber, low and mournful. "You hollowed our heart. Now we will hollow yours." The ground erupted in silence, not explosion, not sound, but a sucking absence that pulled the air out of his lungs. When Cale woke, the station was half buried. The power was gone. He wandered through dark corridors, lit only by faint bioluminescent veins running through the walls. Every surface pulsed with life. He found the others, some staring into nothing, others whispering as if talking to someone invisible. Their eyes glowed faintly blue, pupils dilated to black. When he asked what they were doing, they said they were listening to the mother below. Cale fled deeper into the mine shafts, trying to reach the old elevator to the surface, but the tunnels had changed. The walls breathed, opening and closing like a throat. He climbed through an access vent and emerged into a cavern that shouldn't exist. Vast, shimmering with wet light, its ceiling a mile above. At its center stood something like a heart the size of a mountain, wrapped in roots of black stone. It pulsed slowly, and with every beat the cavern shook. The ground around it was covered in figures, humans kneeling, their skin covered in dark, root-like veins, their mouths open in silent prayer. Cale recognized some of them, scientists, engineers, miners, all merged with the living stone. They weren't dead. Their chests rose and fell in perfect rhythm with the heart. A voice filled the space again, this time softer, almost kind. "You cut too deep and found us dreaming. We made you from our marrow. You forgot. But we remember." Cale fell to his knees, his mind filled with visions. The planet's formation, molten and alive. Creatures of energy and Earth forging the first biospheres, watching their children crawl onto the surface and forget their makers. "We fed your roots. We let you build. We waited for you to listen," the voice said. He whispered, shaking. "What are you?" The heart pulsed once, and the answer came not in words but in feeling, ancient grief, endless patience, the love of something that once held oceans in its veins. "We are the Earth, "You are the hollow." The light grew brighter until it burned through his vision. When he woke again, the station was gone. Above him stretched open sky, not the synthetic glow of surface domes, but true atmosphere, gray and heavy with new clouds. Around him grew forests made of glass and metal, trees humming faintly like tuning forks. The world had changed overnight. The tectonic systems had stopped, yet the planet was still warm, breathing. Reports from other continents spoke of cities swallowed by soil, mountains blooming with light, oceans turning transparent and full of shadowed forms that looked up at passing ships. The government fell silent. Communication lines died. People began hearing voices through the rain, calling them by name. Kyle wandered north, following the rivers that now flowed uphill, guided by whispers in the wind. Everywhere he went, he found signs of rebirth, buildings grown over with crystal vines, lakes glowing from beneath, strange, luminous children playing among the ruins, children with soil under their skin and eyes like molten amber. They looked at him with recognition, and one spoke softly. "You came back late." Kale asked what they were. The child smiled. "We are what comes after remembering." When he touched the child's hand, he felt the hum again, deep and resonant, the same heartbeat that once shook the core. The earth was no longer just ground. It had become aware. Humanity had woken something that was never asleep. That night, the stars flickered as if adjusting, and the moon's surface rippled with faint light. The air smelled of stone and honey. Kale lay down on the living soil, listening to the heartbeat beneath him, and whispered, "Are you going to kill us?" The earth's voice filled the rain. "No, we are you. We are simply taking back what we lent." By morning, the rivers ran black and warm. The forests glowed brighter. The new children sang in voices made of thunder and leaves. And when the last transmission came from the satellites before they fell, it carried a single message written in light across the planet's magnetic field. "The hollow ones have been filled." No one knew what that meant. But if you stand now, centuries later, on the broken edges of the old cities and press your ear to the ground, you can still hear it, the heartbeat slow and patient, waiting for the next dream. The earth did not end. It remembered.